I am glad to see that the American people and our system of democracy and rule of law are holding people accountable who attempted to upend the democratic process.
To echo Vice President Harris, we are seeing accountability in action in the wake of January 6th. This week, the former head of the far-right Proud Boys was sentenced for his role in that assault on our democracy. Enrique Tarrio, he received 22 years in federal prison. This is the longest January 6th sentence that we have seen yet. Tarrio was found guilty of what's called seditious conspiracy in May. Seditious conspiracy alone carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. The judge also employed terrorism sentencing enhancements. But now you've got some Republican presidential candidates that are saying that this is an example of a two-tiered justice system. Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy say that the sentences are excessive compared to what Black Lives Matter protesters and Antifa members have received. Well, first, just let me say the groups are not comparable, but the data tells me that on average, everyone has received the same level of sentencing, except those convicted of seditious conspiracy. Shan Wu is back with me, and he'll tell us why. Shan Wu, why is seditious conspiracy, why does it carry a more weight, more gravity, if you will?
Because, not to overstate this, it's attacking the fabric of the democracy. It's trying to overthrow the government. That's the charge. And that harkens back to the only civil war this country's ever had. So from a big picture standpoint, there's nothing more serious than that, trying to destroy the government itself. That's why it's more serious.
Well, I mean, I think that makes it plain for the people. So in this case, the Department of Justice, they actually asked for, I think, more than 33 years for Tarrio. The judge said that he didn't see much remorse from Enrique Tarrio, but he ended up landing on 22 years. How do you think that the judge got there?
Well, it's really interesting because the judge has said that the enhancement for domestic terrorism applies, meaning that Tarrio and Proud Boys met that. But he didn't want to fully use that enhancement and go with DOJ's request for that. And, you know, he's a lifetime appointee. He doesn't have to run on a tough on crime campaign in the future. So he can use his discretion that way. Why did he use the discretion? I think it's actually reflective of a larger attitude in our country where we still think of terrorism as being an attack from abroad, something that's happened. We haven't really come around to the fact that there's a terrible threat on the domestic front, and a great threat may come from within rather from without. And I think you see that reflected. The judge is thinking these are not people who did a massive bomb attack, chemical attack, and there's still that aspect to it. That's what I think.
So do you think that then sentences such as this, and I mean, there are other members who have been sentenced, but again, 22 years is the longest January 6th sentence that we've seen yet. Again, still more folks to be worked through the system. Do you think that these sentences are deterrents for this kind of behavior? There are folks out there that say this accountability is very important to keep this from happening again.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I don't mean to minimize 22 years. That's a hefty sentence.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time, yeah. And I think other people, I think we've already seen that deterrence. With all the, bombast that Trump has been saying about now they've indicted me numerous times, people are going to come out, it's dangerous. You're not seeing that kind of big crowd violence. It's already serving that deterrence. People have seen that this is not just getting on the internet, babbling, getting dressed up in my weekend camouflage gear. This has real consequences when you take it to the point of actually attacking people.
You know, you used to be a federal prosecutor right here in Washington, D.C. I wonder if you could, in our last moments, illuminate for me how the prosecutors who are working on these cases potentially are feeling. You know, we are talking about the issues of our democracy. This is heavy, weighty stuff that has been, again, January 6th was 2021, right? This is 2023. We're on our way to 2024. This has been a long time coming. How are the tone and tenor of the prosecutors?
I think that they are really, as they have to be, focused on getting the job done one step at a time. You can't let the sort of weightiness of the crime make you tense or get nervous or have anxiety. There's so much to do. This is a huge amount of people to prosecute, and they've been marching for it. I've been critical of DOJ. I think they got started too late.
Oh, they got started way too late.
Yeah,
Shout out to
absolutely.
the January 6th committee, okay?
Right, there you go. I totally agree with that. But that's not to take away from the fact that they have done a lot of this work in prosecuting these violent people that did these things. So I think they're focusing on the task at hand, taking these cases apart piece by piece, and they know that they got to get it right.
I got to get it right. Sharon, well, thank you so much for coming back and breaking this down. Appreciate you.